Welcome to the Practical Mystic Show, where we bring you simple tips and techniques from around the globe to help practical people deal with extraordinary experiences. And now, your favorite scientist, shaman, and sacred clown, and also the show's host, Janine Bolin.
Hey, welcome to the Practical Mystic Show. I'm Janine Bolin, and today's show is going to have a little bit of a different flair to it. I'm very excited to be able to bring on my dear friend as well as business owner, Whitedove Gannon. And she is joining us from colorful Colorado. Quite a bit of a heat going on right now. We have temperatures over 100, but we're staying cool. The neat thing about Whitedove is that she is the founder of Startup Academy, where she challenges business owners to totally ditch the financial learning curve and just start your business off right. But the other thing that I love about her is she helped an old business owner like myself. I've been in business for 30 years, and she was still able to give me tips and little techniques that I could do to make my books look a little bit better for my accountant. And she has a philosophy that I found wonderful. Not only is she down to earth with quite a different name, not many people are called Whitedove after their father, but not only is she an end of the era hippie kid, as she likes to call herself, she's also happily married, and you have 5 kids, and you've spent the last 4 years growing your accounting and bookkeeping business. And I just wanted to say what really attracted me to you, Whitedove, was the fact that you wanted to reinvent and redefine a very efficient bookkeeping system instead of having people just see it as data entry only. And those two things really stood out to me. So welcome to the show.
Thank you, Janine. I'm happy to be here.
Learn how to live your future now through purposeful change with the 8 Gates. This world guarantees changes will happen in your life, and the 8 Gates guides you through these changes safely. It's done with clarity and direction through customized programs involving face-to-face meetings, online classes, book tutorials, meditation techniques, spiritual awakening, and a vast referral network of shamans, psychics, healers, and spiritualists to fit your individual needs. This process of transformation is available to you today. Book a free 30-minute phone consultation at the8gates.com.
Yeah, so to get things kind of started off, I would really love to know what drove your decision to be what I like to term an instructional accountant? What drove that?
Well, in the 4 years since I started this piece, I've been a lifetime entrepreneur, obviously all the way through. But this piece of it I designed 4 years ago to help business owners with their accounting and their bookkeeping needs. Now, in those 4 years, what I found was a lot of small businesses weren't even starting to consider this until, maybe 2 years in, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years in, to actually create a program or a system that can give them the financial foundation that they desperately need in order to be successful business owners. And so with that, I thought, okay, how can I back up and hit this before we get to that point? Because then they're busy doing the very busy things of being, an entrepreneur in their business, wearing all the hats, and they just don't have the time, but yet they're missing the component of needing to know what their financial picture looks like for the business in order to make sound business decisions. So in that desire, I went away from taxation and branched over into the teaching side of the accounting world.
And that is a whole different animal, isn't it?
Yes, it is. It's good. Same time consumption, just a different aspect of it. But it's so needed. It's so very, very needed because the accounting world does not do this anymore. Years ago, 20 years ago, they used to do this. You used to be able to sit with your accountant and learn a few things because they held on to the program, the software, or they did all the transactions on paper. So they needed to have that. But with the era that we live in, and we have all of the tools at our disposal, and, we're hammered all the time with, use this program, use that program, use this program. They built it for the business owner, but yet they left out the component because now accountants and tax preparers are so inundated with our tax code, and then obviously now the reform on top of it, that they don't have time. And so they'll come in and they'll spit out a tax form for their people, and they do a great job at that. But the problem is then the business owner walks out thinking, I just paid a lot of money to have this done, and at least I won't get in trouble with the IRS, but I have no idea what I just did. And they just continue to carry on as a business owner doing their thing, still not understanding the very foundational piece of running a business, which is the financials.
Right. And a lot of people don't even know how to read a balance sheet. They go to the bottom line. As long as I'm, in the blacks and everything's okay. And I'm guilty of that. I ran for years until I had a business owner that had a gross income of over $5 million from his business. And he sat down and he walked me through, this is what these things mean. This is what this stuff is saying. This is how you diagnose the pulse of your business. But I had never been walked through something like that. I had no clue what these reports were telling me. All I knew was that as long as I was in the black and I could put money in my IRA, I was good. So,
exactly. Well, and that's the thing, too, is that it was a business owner that happened to know what he was looking at, not even in the accounting world. See, the accounting world, we've lost touch with that. We do not talk to because we're inundated, and it takes so much time to create the tax return or do a gazillion tax returns because there's, I think, some crazy number of like 15,000 businesses start up a week. I mean, there's this outrageous number of businesses that start, and so everybody needs a tax return. So they are so inundated with what they do. And have you seen the IRS tax code book? It's ridiculous. Nobody wants to look at that. Neither do I.
It is crazy. So let's just talk a little bit. The way you and I met was because we were both starting our own online schools. You were working on Startup Academy for business owners, and I was working on my business and its work. What I wanted to really bring out today was what are kind of the top 3 issues that you see business owners have with their books? Because whether you've been in business a long time or you're just starting up, you can always go back to the basics and learn a lot more. And so that's what I wanted you to tell me is like, what are the top 3 things that as a business owner I could do, right now or this week to kind of get things in better shape so that as I start like Startup Academy or I go to an accountant, I have a little bit better understanding of what's working.
So the number one thing, predominantly in small businesses that I find that are in the first 2 years, and a lot of my clients that come to me saying, what do I do? The biggest thing they have is they don't have anything. They may or may not have a business bank account, but that's a whole different topic because you need to have one. If you don't have one, go out and get one, within the next couple of weeks. It needs to happen. But that's not the number one issue. The number one issue is that they're either just spending or they're just bringing in money, and it may be going to a business account or a personal account or wherever it's going. They're just depositing, and they're in business, doing the thing, enjoying it, that they're, they have this lifestyle of being an entrepreneur, following their dream, and that itself is invigorating. But the problem is that they've got no structure behind it. So yes, they may be thinking that they're lucrative right now, or they're making money right now, or they're not in the red right now, but they don't really know because they have no method to gauge it. They have no system behind it. They're not using a spreadsheet, or they're not using a software that's capable of doing these things for them. And it doesn't mean that they have to have a system where they need to know accounting. There's many different opportunities, and that's why I created an opportunity as well. But there's different opportunities to be able to have those tools and resources. But if you are not tracking where your receipts are going and you're just taking them and putting them in a shoebox or in an envelope, I guarantee you are losing money at tax time. You are paying more in your liability than is necessary because you cannot possibly remember everything that transacted over the last 12 months to 15 months, depending on when you go to file your taxes. That's
right, and that's number one, and I can definitely be a testament to that. Even with me putting little notes on receipts and stuff like that, I still struggle, and I have to run to my calendar to figure out, what I need to know. And so that's where I got convinced into a better system with mine.
Yeah.
So what's number 2 for you?
Number 2 would be that, say, the number 1 was not the critical issue for said business owner or a business owner, but they maybe have a system or they have a spreadsheet, but they do not understand an ounce of what their business story is telling them. So they're not in touch with the backside of their business, this foundational piece. So maybe they have the foundation because they innately or someone told them they knew to create it, to have this part of it, but they don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand what this component means for their business. And so understanding the system that they create and efficiently creating a system is the second part of it. So just because you have QuickBooks Online or something does not necessarily mean you're efficient with it, because you may not even have it established the right way. Or even if you're using a spreadsheet, do you even have the categories properly mapped out for people or for yourself when you spend money on goods, or you have expenses in your business, or when you bring in money from other people, from your clients? So not understanding where you create the story. So your business tells the story in the chart of accounts and in the profit and loss. That is telling you the story of your business in an analytical aspect. And not all of us, a lot of us, especially in the creative space, are not analytical, but we do have the capabilities of viewing something more analytically if we just make ourselves consciously aware that for this 15 minutes, we are going to be discussing, or I'm going to be looking at this or discussing this with myself analytically, and not to let emotion drive, your thoughts about the money that you spent. So not understanding that process or what to do with it, because you have a system, doesn't mean that you're even looking or checking in with that system on a regular basis. That is where you're losing touch with it. You have to be in touch with your financial picture, and you have to understand what the story of your business is telling you, not just your day-to-day actions. And that rolls me right into my third one, because you have to be in touch with your money and not looking at your bank balance detail. That is not being in touch with your business money. And I talk to my students and I talk to my clients all the time. You need to be aware of what your money is telling you and block off that time. And they do. A lot of them come to me and they're just like, I don't even know where to start. I don't have a business degree. I don't have an accounting degree. They don't have these key pieces. And what happens is then they just don't do anything. And they need to separate time out on their calendar and make it as equal importance as an appointment with a client, because you need to just, even if it's just 15 minutes, sit down, see what your money is doing in your system. You have to have a system somewhere, not just your online banking. Don't go into Wells Fargo or, U.S. Bank or Chase Bank or whatever your bank is and look at the money transactions there, because we view that with a different set of glasses. So the third thing is that they do not touch that analytical business picture weekly, and it needs to be done.
Right. And that's part of the 5-hour work week I like to promote in the Business Builder Workshop, which is there's the part of the business that is the sales and the follow-up and the closings of people and clients. But then there's also the making sure that you are following the story of your business. I like the way you say that. Also, on to point 2, I really wanted to say I totally agree with you. I'm a very artistic person myself, but I'm also analytical. But I have to switch it on and off. I literally have to take a moment and go, okay, I now have to look at my money. And that means, and I set a timer. I set it. You're sweet. You say 15 minutes. You give your artistic people a great out. But for me, I have to sit there for 30 minutes in order for me to digest everything and then be able to make appropriate actions for whatever my current launch is or how my book is doing or something like that. So that I definitely want to confirm with you. So, well, I wanted to say thank you so much for your time today. I know we kind of screamed through those points, but that was the thing I loved about you was like you cover a lot of ground, you cover a lot of information in a short period of time. So I know people are going to want to learn more. So how do you want folks to reach out to you?
They can reach out to me directly on my website at whitedove-gannon.com. At the very bottom of every single page I have a question form, and any question they have, they can send over, and it comes directly to me. It doesn't filter through anybody else, and it can be a question on what do I do with this, or I do have a system, but where do I put this? I answer every single and all questions that come through there, because I want people to not view this as a pain point. I want them to understand that it's not rocket science, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money to have someone do this for you. Plus, they need to know it anyways. But at the same time, I'm on Facebook, and my business page my real name is Whitedove. That is where my business page is, but you can find me under Whitedove Gannon as well. So those are the 2 places they can find me that are the most dominant.
Right. And I encourage everyone to reach out to Whitedove now. Please do not wait until January of next year when you're in a crisis mode. I highly recommend you start that relationship now. And that way you can reach her and she's in a better place to be able to help you with either your state sales taxes that are required or the federal, because there's so many different aspects we have to worry with now as entrepreneurs. So Whitedove, thank you so much for giving us your time. I know you're as highly engaged as I am, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you so much for coming on the show and educating us.
You're very welcome. And anytime I can educate your people, I'm more than happy to do so with any questions. You just let me know.
I will be reaching out to you again toward the end of the year before your schedule gets crazy. And to everyone else, have a great day today. Stay grounded on planet Earth as you reach for those stars for your business. We'll chat again soon. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
This has been the Practical Mystic Show with Janine Bolin. For show notes, resources, and more, visit the8gates.com. Thanks for listening.